Right. And one of the casualties of the smaller club coming into the next rounds has been Belgium, and Belgium's decline has been very surprising because they used to call themselves the golden generation golden generation last World Cup, right? What happened since then? Uh, Ashwin, Satvik, Swaroop, maybe
Uh,
you can see in the
I
thoughts.
think it is a mixture of the coach. I mean,
Okay.
Martinez, his probably his biggest achievement was winning the FA Cup, I think, with Wigan. So that was his biggest achievement, and he guided them to a relegation, I think, as well in the same year. I don't remember correctly, but that was his coaching pedigree, and they appointed him. Belgium appointed him as the coach, and I think their highest ever finish in the World Cup was the third place finish in I think 2014, the Brazil
Yeah.
one. Sorry, or
Yeah.
sorry, the Russian World Cup. So that was their highest,
Yeah.
um, highest ever finish in a World Cup, and I think they've massively underachieved for the squad that they've had. Like even they had a huge. I mean, they have a really good depth as well in the squad, but they've just failed miserably. And moreover, I think the chemistry between the members were like it was all off
Right.
this tournament. I mean, there was a public like war of words between Vertonghen and De Bruyne. I think De
Hmm.
Bruyne called them old, and then
Yeah.
I called the defenders old, and then he hit back. Vertonghen hit back at the midfielders because they were not supplying balls to the forwards. And then
Right.
even Lukaku was a huge flop,
Hmm.
wasn't he, during this tournament? He missed like I don't know three or four open chances during that game. But I'm just happy
Ashwin,
that Morocco came through. I'm just happy
uh,
like the fans they deserve this qualification to the round of 16. One of the most passionate fans I've seen, so they thoroughly deserve it.
Yeah. Satvik, you want to come in? You were saying something?
I just wanted to inform that I think I read it somewhere today or yesterday that even Courtois said that this this excuse about old age and all of those things are just nonsense, because he gave the example of Real Madrid, and he said that we have Cruz and Modric playing in Real Madrid, and we are world beaters. So effectively, it's
Hmm.
not about age; it's about how you play and how you
Right.
interact with each other on the field, and that's exactly what Courtois highlighted was that our midfield was the Belgian midfield was just not up to the mark, and that actually ties up with the coaching which I was talking about, and also the club football aspect, playing under different managers, which I was talking about. Ashwin correctly said, what is the legacy of Roberto Martinez? Just getting Wigan win the FA Cup and then getting it relegated in the same season. So I think that's not a world beaters. I mean, with all due respect to Martinez and Thierry Henry being his number two, they haven't done anything in con coaching respects. You have the best. I think in a playing 11, we can have at least 7 or 8 people who are the best in their positions in the Belgian squad in the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, it's not a. I mean, they're just some of the numbers which they make. They weren't playing as a team, and it was clear. It was clear that at least the backline age was showing a little more than the mid and the forward for me, because they were static and they were letting they were not closing the gaps. They weren't fast enough, and they paid the price. Of course, there were issues with Lukaku. There were issues with the midfield, Carrasco and other people as well, but defense needed shoring up. And the problem with the Belgian squad and the Belgium system in toto is that they're not being able to have ready-made replacements, if not replacements, at least understudies of these players, because they really need to do that if you have to have sustained success. If you want to have a system where you keep on creating more and more world class players, you need to have that system where you bridge the gap between the youth which is coming up and the outgoing legends. And I think that's somewhere, and that there's a disconnect there which I think was under, because if we had good backup youth young players who've had played in tier one clubs of tier one European leagues, I'm pretty sure Martinez would have had better teams to field, and could have done himself and his country a lot more. I mean, rather Belgium a lot more favor than he did in this World Cup.
Yeah, a good observation there. Yeah, yeah.